President of Trinidad and Tobago, Christine Kangaloo, on the advice of the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, declared a state of emergency on December 30th.
Besides police, can anybody just run up in here or no?
Yeah,
does it look like anybody can run up in here?
It's not a crazy question.
Does it look like anybody can run up in here?
Somebody and then you end up seeing them with their mother. Would you still them? And some of the, wherever I was, the guy said, yo, the young generation, we don't care if you with your mother.
Yeah, that's shit. Just with your mother.
Even if they grew up together? Was it your fault or was it their fault?
Huh?
Was it y'all fault or their fault?
It was no one, it was them fault.
They give me $100,000 US just to be my friend, but I take it because you're puppy.
What's up, family? We are back. It's been a minute. While we've been quiet in the channel, the same could not be said for the Caribbean. From Haiti, Trinidad, and Jamaica, tension remains high. For the purpose of this video, we are going to focus on Trinidad and Tobago and what could be regarded as the final dance between the 6 and the 7, where a little lineman can turn deadly. As government interference become tougher, alleged business owners and gang leaders hold secret meetings in the UK to place bounties on their rivals, with eager hitmen ready to collect.
Who told you that?
What transpired after is shocking, with citizens crying out for help. The question remains, what will it take? The web of alliance between the two factions is spread throughout the whole of the Caribbean. Although the war originated in Trinidad, it has spread beyond the Twin Islands. What will it take? What will it take for the bloodshed to stop? There must be an answer. We look into this plus more. Let's go. As of 2026, the Twin Island nation has already recorded 75 murders at the time of recording this video. These are not statistics, these are lives lost, families broken, and communities shaken, sparking the country to go under yet another state of emergency in fear of reprisal killings. The beef between the 6 and the 7 has been heavily documented, one that entails jealousy, bloodshed, and government inaction. If you have not seen part 1 of this documentary, we highly recommend it. This is not the first time the country has called for a state of emergency. This is becoming a recurring event that the government is being heavily criticized for. To understand how we got here, we must look back into what caused the first state of emergency in the country. One of the main reasons why the battle on the ground has intensified is because of the musical warfare, which officials believe is financed by gang leaders. Seeing artists like Kman and Mad Boss accumulating millions of views on YouTube as they take direct shots at fallen members and the head of record label executives, which ultimately leads to reprisal shootings to silence their opposition. As of May 2025, artist Kman was signed to record label West Bank with alliance from Squash and Byron Messiah. On the other side, artists like Med Boss and Plumpy Boss, who are believed to be independent, are supported by the almighty Prezi. The two figures, Yo Killer and Prezi, play a part in the underground criminal organizations that runs through the Caribbean. For a brief understanding of their background, in 2019, both found themselves at the wrong end of the law. Erickson, also known as Yo Killer, was arrested in St. Thomas over an alleged 2018 conspiracy to transport $130,000 from drug proceeds via a ferry from Tortola to the US Virgin Islands, while Prezi was arrested under the Section 6 Part 2 of the Anti-Gang Act of 2018 for being the alleged leader of the 7 faction. To put things into American context, the war between the 6 and the 7 is like the war in Chirac, but with limited population and no boundaries, as the gang will go to any length to eliminate their target, whether it be in or out of Trinidad, as we will see in this video. According to members, the 6 who were once part of Rasta City became prominent when they allied themselves with the Jamaican artist Squash.
It's because I hear a lot about 6 now.
But that originated in Jamaica.
Oh.
Yeah, under Squash.
Oh.
The artist Squash.
I know what you're talking about, yeah. So how did it come out here?
He came down here and he was linking with men, and you know, men like the vibes now, you know, and just fall under. You know, but it was first, it was, you know, what, that music thing.
Yeah.
You know, so because we had an artist, Rebel 6. He was one of the first artists was going to sign on the Squash label, but he ended up coming and getting killed.
Rebel 6 got killed?
Yeah.
In Trinidad?
Yeah. In his home.
Squash, who is currently serving a 27-month sentence in federal prison in the United States for possession of firearm and a switch. Ever since the assassination attempt on Plumpy Boss in St. Martin in July 2024, there have been rumors on who might be responsible for the plot, with many fingers pointing in one direction. As a result, a secret plan was put in place for the execution of those who are believed to be responsible, and they will go to any length to make them pay. National security sources in Trinidad confirmed the 7-gang hierarchy met in the United Kingdom in early of December 2024 to place a $1 million bounty on the heads of 2 rival gang leaders, as well as to mitigate the damage of retaliation attack in Trinidad by bringing their family members to the UK. Subsequently, the threats became reality. On the 28th of December 2024, what was supposed to be another scheduled bail book signage for Calvin Lee, aka Tyson or Den 6, who is alleged to be the gang leader of the 6 faction, was ambushed by Rival 7 in a calculated attack with more than 30 spent shells recovered from the crime scene. Luckily, the alleged gang leader escaped with his life, but the same could not be said for Trevor Williams, who was shot dead in broad daylight in the hours of 3:30 p.m. Despite the rivalry between the 2 factions, why would they go to so much to execute Den 6 in front of a police station? Is there a price to collect? However, this blatant assassination attempt will not go unnoticed. And within 24 hours, investigators believe 6 men were ambushed by 3 armed men at about 8:30 p.m. whilst liming, according to reports, a white Nissan AD wagon stopped in front of the shop, and the gunmen entered and opened fire on the occupants. Police suspect that the mass murder was revenge attack for the murder of 34-year-old Trevor Williams outside of Beeson Street Police Station from the previous day. As a result, the government was forced to call for a state of emergency.
Government maintains that this was the best course due to the significant increase in violent crimes, particularly those involving the use of high-powered illegal firearms. Jason John has the details.
President of Trinidad and Tobago, Christine Kangaloo, on the advice of the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, declared a state of emergency on December 30th. During a press conference following the announcement, Acting Attorney General, Senior Counsel Stuart Young, outlined the seriousness of the decision made under Section 8 of the Constitution. He said it resulted from intelligence provided by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service pertaining to activities by criminal gangs, including reprisal killings.
The criminal gangs, via the use of high-powered assault weapons and other illegal firearms, in areas of Trinidad and possibly Tobago, are likely to immediately increase their brazen acts of violence in reprisal shootings on a scale so extensive that it threatens persons and will endanger public safety.
The acting AG reiterated that there is no intention at this time to enforce a curfew. He said the target of this national public state of emergency is those who engage in activities with criminal intent of endangering public safety through the use of illegal firearms.
The police service will be given the powers to search premises without warrants, to search persons without warrants who they have suspicions of carrying out criminal activities, a lot of it associated with illegal firearms, and also to detain persons for periods of time. The regulations are setting out the process and the procedure. We're going to have a 48-hour holding period where persons can be held under these regulations. Thereafter, either a magistrate or a senior police officer can make an order of detention for another 7 days whilst evidence is being gathered with respect to persons held under the state of emergency regulations.
Giving probable cause statistics from the TTPS, Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines indicated as of December 26th, there were 551 incidents of murder with 614 victims. He further explained that 93 of them were incidents with more than one victim. There were 33 double homicides, 8 triple homicides, 4 quadruple homicides, and 1 quintuple homicide. All of
on then 6 was unsuccessful. The same could not be said for who was on the hit list next. On May 10, 2025, Erickson, otherwise known as Yo Killer, was ambushed by a gunman and died on the scene. Following the news, a press release on May 15th shared on social media identified Don as the man responsible for the murder of Yo Killer. The whereabouts of the wanted man is unknown, and as of July 2025, he escaped from the British Virgin Islands and remains at large. This has given both sides, with key leaders of the 6 unalive, this has given the 7 ammunition to use in their lyrics.
Prezzy's reprisals were like a creeping lion attacking its prey. You'll never know when he strikes. Kman 6 continues to not take accountability for some many deaths by his one diss track alone. Were they sacrificed? Questions are still unanswered.
Rappers met Boss, delivering one of the most disrespectful reference in the gang war by placing fallen members of the 6 gang on grave sites. In his music video, Just Do, the song since then has accumulated 7 million views to date and has become one of the most successful songs of his career. And within a matter of months, 63 murders later, the government was forced to call another state of emergency. Some have questioned the government's strategy to call for a state of emergency, as this is becoming a more recurring event, while the root cause of the problem remains unsolved.
Following what the Prime Minister termed as a wave of gang-related mass shootings. The move aims to curb violent crime that surged after the previous emergency ended in January. But as security forces move into high gear, the business community is raising cautious questions about the long-term impact on the economy. Joel Green George has the story.
The islands are under tight security tonight. Law enforcement officers are back on high alert following the National Security Council's decision to reinstate a state of public emergency. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar says the surge in gang warfare and says the private sector is familiar with these measures. However, there is concern regarding how this will impact visitor arrivals and the broader economy. Williams notes that because much of the intelligence is classified, the chamber is forced to trust the government's strategy.
Because it's privileged information, so they know best, so we will abide to what is given to us through the Ministry of National Security.
But not everyone is taking a wait-and-see approach. The Tobago Business Chamber is sounding the alarm over the repetitive nature of these declarations. President Martin George, when he spoke to Tobago Updates, warned that a semi-permanent state of emergency could damage the nation's international standing. He stated that a state of emergency speaks to instability and adversely affects our tourism, ratings, and travel advisories. He said that one has to wonder about the government's long-term crime solutions. He feels that a reinstated, semi-permanent state of emergency makes a mockery of the word emergency. As the TTPS and armed forces begin strategic operations today, the country waits to see if these measures will finally bring the stability. The TTPS and armed forces begin strategic operations today. The country waits to see if these measures will finally bring the stability.
And see you guys in the next one.